Hey, 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 welcome back. Welcome back to the Scorpio channel. For those of you that are new to the channel, my name is Laura and I'm going to do a general message for Scorpio. Know that energy is fluid, roles can be reversed, interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also, know on this channel, I do look at everything, but we take more time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play out as karmic themes. So this will allow you to understand why everything is playing out the way that it is. A lot of times we're more connected to a karmic mate than we are a, hey, Diane, instead of like a soulmate or life's partner. And so, instead of that person bringing us joy and happiness, they wind up creating pain. And so a lot of times we want to know why that experience happened, or how did the experience go from one extreme to a complete other. Like if you have intense feelings and passion to like completely loathing that person. And the reason why is because of the spiritual blocks. Spiritual blocks that we don't heal, they get worse. It means that we become more of a magnet for more of that type of energy, and it plays out as karmic theme. Like in the karmic theme could be victimization, it can be betrayal. It's any energy that keeps you on a lower frequency. So our shadows are what are created from the spiritual blocks. And a spiritual block is just again, being blocked in a perception of disempowerment, in a place of fear, because there's parts of you that are fragmented, and those fragmented pieces are pieces that were created from trauma. So psychological and emotional trauma is the majority of trauma that happens in relationships. It's not that physical trauma can't happen, but the majority, it's not that we're dealing with someone that is hitting us and is doing stuff like that. It's people that are messing with us psychologically. And so what happens is that we form habits and behaviorisms to create balance when we're in a situation like that. So those spiritual blocks many times are what are come from our childhood, and then continue to play out within our relationships. So hopefully, if you integrate the spiritual lesson, you'll be able to see all that karmic theme not really play out as much, or if it plays out, you're not reacting, you're not triggered the same way, and which means that you're able to handle it a lot differently. So the many different realities that play out at one time, your level of consciousness, again, is dependent on the core beliefs. The core beliefs are what create the habits and behaviorisms that create the karma. We're not aware. Again, most of the times it's, again, just subconscious. So the universe brings us people to help us, to restore us back to our original state of unconditional love. So these readings, like I said, are healing. They have a healing style to them. That's why I like to explain, because a lot of times people don't understand. I read a lot of crazy comments like God's evil, God's a narcissist. Someone said God's a narcissist. God is the universe. So it's not, can't be a narcissist. It's impossible. It's the energy of unconditional love. It's that person's perception of what God is. God's a consciousness. So again, embodying that consciousness is love. So it's not like you're being punished. The earth is school. And again, to help you evolve back into your original state. That's how you really know what unconditional love is. That's how you can become the expression of love, so you can attract people that are in alignment with who you are today, not the wounds of the past. Most people are stuck in the wounds of the past, which is where they get these crazy perceptions that God's evil, that there's no such thing as love, that they feel like there's something wrong with them. It's like these situations don't normally happen. People tend to, again, in their minds, make up scenarios about themselves when they're not looking at it from a spiritual perspective. They're looking at their life from a physical perspective, which is what I see is what I know is what I believe, just the facts. But everybody knows that the spiritual realm transcends the limitations of the mind. Again, that's why if you can imagine it, you can create it. It's you have magic energy, supernatural energy inside of you that allows you to manifest whatever it is that you want. Thank you, Dark and Lovely. So let's see what the word of the video is. We always want to know what the word of the video is because it's the underlining energy that tells us why everyone's doing what they're doing. Because when we're dealing with like a karmic, they're doing things like ignoring you. They're doing things like to try to manipulate you, and to manipulate you many times just so that you give them energy and they don't really have to give energy, or that it's some sort of one-sided energy, that there's usually a lot of betrayal in these karmic types of relationships that we look at, and it's does psychological and emotional damage. So the word of the video, again, if you want to enter into winning free reading, you know you got to write this word in your comment bar. By the way, in the comment bar, if you forget the word, because I say it in the beginning of the video, it'll be in the description box. Coaching, by the way, is also now opened. So if you're someone that's looking for coaching, for life coaching, well, fill out the link and one of my people will get in touch with you. All right. I almost forgot to tell you guys that. So the word of the video is not actually one word, it's two, and it's unlock DNA. Now, this is going to get deep. And so we automatically know that we're going to be dealing with a soulmate. We're going to be dealing with a karmic mate. We're going to wind up, because unlocking DNA, see, we inherit our family's patterns because we grow up in environments. So it happens unconsciously. So the way that our parents dealt with stress, the way their core beliefs of what they thought, their habits, their mannerisms. So epigenetics is the science that actually studies that it's your environment that creates your reality, because you form habits and behaviorisms that are in alignment with with whatever is going on in your environment. So when you're unlocking DNA, you're not inheriting your parents' spiritual blocks. So if your parents were codependent, which I'm feeling like that's really what this is, it's like you were brought up in a trauma bond type of relationship where your mom and your dad were codependent and they did not get along. They didn't get along at all. And what you watched was love was difficult. And it was because one person never showed up and the other person did everything on an emotional level, but still never got their emotional needs met. It's like they almost gave up their life to be with this person, to take care of this person. So your parent might have been sick all the time, and you had one parent that had to take care of that person that was sick all the time. Or that parent did everything, where another parent didn't do anything for you and didn't do anything for the family. They just kind of took up space. Again, it's very imbalanced environment, which is a root chakra imbalance, which is no connection to ancestral, because it was like, I was taught not to trust. Why? Because again, they couldn't trust themselves. If they are in a bad codependent relationship like that, then there's usually money problems. There's a lot of other problems. They're imbalanced. So unlocking DNA is not inherit, it's not copying, it's being very aware, spiritually aware of what your parents did, what the spiritual lesson was. However, you still had that imprint on your mind because you grew up in that environment and it affected you. It affected you a great deal growing up and watching one parent do everything and always being angry. One parent might have been drunk all the time. One parent might have not been responsible with money. It's again, there was just an imbalance that affected the entire family. And so when we have that, there's always addictions involved because how do people deal with their stress when they're not evolved? They drink a little too much. They smoke a little bit too much. They're trying to like suppress their emotions. What creates sickness and disease? The suppression of emotions. So again, just not breaking ancestral karma is really the unlocking DNA because you're breaking those karmic cycles. And I feel like you're connected to someone that did not, but there still is a very strong soul relationship. It's almost like you look at this person and you say, I can definitely see how my relationship would look exactly like my parents' relationship being with you. And it's because you wouldn't show up. It's almost like, hey, great big heart, and hey, Mose, so it's like, it really affected you. So unlocking DNA means, like I said, that you can see the imprint that you have and why you were attracted to this person, but it still doesn't mean that you don't have feelings for this person. So this is the energy, almost like you're holding back, but I do feel that there's a part of you that's like, I wish that person would they would contact me. I wish that they would talk to me. Or sometimes, and then other times, I'm not really quite sure whether I do because I don't know how I would deal with it. So you have a lot of different emotions, which is normal when you're unlocking DNA because listen, it's a spiritual block that has been with you for your ancestors for generations and generations and generations, and like not being in a codependent relationship, which means standing on your own 2 feet, looking at yourself differently. It means that you've evolved a lot. It doesn't mean, that's why I said this is deep. This is not like a little thing unlocking DNA. So I feel like the thing is with how you knew is because this person, it's not like there wasn't a spiritual connection. There really was, but you know that it would have been a contract. It's that this person withdraws. So they're not emotionally intelligent. And that is what you saw with one parent, emotionally not show up. And so this person did not emotionally show up. And they also emotionally didn't give you what you needed. I feel like didn't make you feel safe. Because unlocking DNA is almost telling me that you didn't participate in this connection, but you want to know what the connection is. Because it's like, I still feel that connection. There's still love there. What's the whole point? And there is. Dramatic. So again, I feel like this person is not really honest. And when you would ask them questions, they would just deflect and say, you don't understand. Like my car broke down, tell you an elaborate story of why they couldn't show up for you, why they didn't do what they should have done. It's almost like if you ask me why I didn't show up for you, I'm going to turn it around like how insensitive you are because of what they went through. It was always like a deflection is the best way that I can explain it. It's like over the top, really just creating unnecessary drama to control the dynamic of the relationship. So you felt manipulated. Almost like this person's very selfish. There's this selfish energy there. Again, like I don't want to give you anything emotionally, and then I want to control you emotionally. You see that? And just being being selfish, being thoughtless, just like being dangerous, like wanting to appear like different, just not just reckless in the relationship, but reckless with themselves. And that, like I said, I feel like is the trigger that you're like, this person reminds me of a parent, or again, of somebody that was supposed to be support, some sort of support in your life. And that reckless behavior is just someone that um, takes unnecessary risks. So that's someone that would drink and drive, go to work and be drunk, just not being mindful about themselves. And so what you know is if they're going to be reckless with themselves, they're definitely going to be reckless with you. Because they're not thinking, and they're not aware, they're not present, they're not awake. We know that people that tend to drink, when they tend to, have problems emotionally, tend to drink or tend to do stuff to suppress. So it's that they cannot take responsibility for themselves. So I feel like it's not like you didn't try to talk to this person. This person is in denial. It's again, they're unwilling to like face the truth about who they are, and they reject a good thing because it's like they could have had a really good thing with you, but this person didn't want to step it up. So there was this energy there that now I want to see what this person thinks like with you. I want to do it a little bit different, because I get tired of looking at things the same way and doing the same readings. So where this unlocking DNA, like I said, is huge, because ancestral karma is not just inheriting core beliefs, but over time, it's your habits and your behaviorisms that shut your DNA on and off. So when you figure out which negative DNAs are being like can be turned off from what behaviorisms, you can actually cure disease. It's like they could actually cure disease, but you can become mindful. And it shows everything happens in the spiritual realm long before it happens in the physical realm. That's why you know that this person really is a soulmate. Like, even though they're more of a karmic mate because they really haven't evolved. Someone that wants to control the relationship, is that. And that's this person on every level. They want to control and not really be mindful. So I feel like this person acts very childish. It's again, here it is. It just says more about who they are. And just like for you, it got to a point where you dismantled your outdated ways of being to get a fresh start. Like it's almost like I feel like you've changed, and you changed a lot when you saw this person. So you might have even had similar energy to this person's that was a little reckless, maybe not as feeling as much to be emotionally opened, the same exact thing, but not to the extent. But unfortunately, there's only two energies, love and fear, so still on the same level. That's for some of you. I want to know what this person feels though, and that I want to see. Let's look at this deck. I wanted to look at the hidden truths. Sometimes when you have too many decks, you don't know what deck to pull from. All right. Let's pull from this deck to see what they're thinking. Our energy is stagnant. Yeah, so like nothing is happening right now. And this person doesn't really know what to do. And so they're thinking triggers can break this stagnancy and help the energy flow again. So this person doesn't communicate well, which we had seen already because they're not emotionally open. So what they would do is they literally would rather start a fight so that it can like start the talking again, where instead of come to you and be vulnerable. So it shows me that they're still in their ego instead of being transparent, really talking about it. And it's really immature. And so this inner child, their inner child was wounded when their parents couldn't respond to them in the way that they needed them to. And so they're reacting from that wound. So again, their past life, ancestral karma, like I said, I feel like that's really what it is. It's like your parent treated you the same way. But, instead of you settling for less, or which would have been the same thing as what you got growing up, you didn't play along with that. And this person, like, I feel like doesn't know how to almost like, I want to say play nice, but it's like almost like doesn't know how to be in an equal give and take relationship. It's like you said, it's like they're so afraid to really open up, to really give. They're praying that you come back after everything that's happened between us. I worry that you won't forgive me and allow me another chance. So this person knows that, but it's obviously not going to work out unless like they become a little bit open. You know what I mean? This is the issue. The issue is that this person doesn't want to be transparent. And we see that when a person was growing up and they got yelled at all the time. So they got taught to lie. The people can be taught to lie because they don't feel safe in being transparent. And so, or they just learn not to share everything because they have major trust issues. And we saw that already. That came up a few times. So that's going to make it really difficult for this person to be in a good relationship, like with anybody. And understand that's what's making them feel inadequate, like there's something wrong with them because like they can't have love. They're recreating what they lived through in their childhood. They couldn't be open, they couldn't be transparent, they were taught not to trust, and it doesn't mean that it hasn't played out. I know the universe works in mysterious ways, but sometimes I judge the situation instead of surrender to it. It's again, they're looking for a problem. They're looking for a reason why it won't work. It's again, trust issues. That's the problem. Like if you grow up in an environment where there's lack, limitation, there's not enough, it becomes like every man for himself. And that's it. And then if your parents really were not supportive because they were in that type of connection where you're taught again every man for himself, but because parents are sometimes they love you, sometimes they don't sometimes they love each other, sometimes they don't. That there really is a fine line between love and hate because those relationships are that way. It's like they're the way that they talk to each other, how your parents talk to each other, the way that they treat each other, all that is ancestral karma. It's like how it's okay to treat your spouse with disrespect. It's okay to call them names. It's okay instead of being open in emotion. Now understand that's because those couples had a lot of frustration, but that's like what happens over time. It's like the person's like, I don't really want to get into a relationship because I don't believe that there is a good relationship. And there won't be a good relationship because they're not transparent, but they don't see that part. And so that's the issue because they're too busy looking for a problem. They're too busy like wanting to create a self-fulfilling prophecy that they're right. So it makes the relationship really difficult. Now, people do that because they think, well, if I'm really on guard and I look for something, you're not going to get over on me. So I'm not going to get hurt. But the focus is on getting hurt. That's what they don't realize, that they're doing all that because they're afraid of getting hurt. So what's the focus on? Getting hurt. So that's what they keep manifesting. They're not grounded. They're not in the present moment. They're too busy strategizing. So you would, of course, take it like this person, like deliberately likes to just start fights with you, doesn't like you at all. Like that's when meanwhile, they have feelings for you. They're worried that you're not going to come back But then you're like, okay, but you're not saying anything. Don't listen to other people. Trust yourself to know the truth. This person's like I feel like they go and ask everybody else. They don't trust themselves, on what to do. They're like, I found up this situation so bad, let me go ask people. But the thing is, most people don't have, your best interest at hand. And you're telling the story from your perception. And your perception is not the truth. The truth is somewhere, it tends to be in the middle, like where this person's gonna, stage things and leave things out because they know certain things that they've done are wrong, but they don't know how to approach the situation. I feel like because of everything that how they were, but then also their own issues of not being evolved enough. I'm seeing synchronicity is like your name or one-on-one and working out what they mean. So it's again the spiritual connection that's forced this person to stop strategizing. Because when you start seeing synchronicities and seeing signs, then what's going on is you're tapping into your intuition because it's like, wait a minute. And that's because the universe has to be like, okay, this person is, going in the wrong direction. And they're going in the wrong direction because the way that they grew up. And again, so they're looking for a problem again. They know the type of relationship this is, but they're still looking for a problem again because they don't believe that they can have this type of relationship. So they're going to do absolutely nothing because then this way they can't screw it up. This is what this person thinks in their mind. I'm trying to figure out this connection. I've never experienced anything like it before. So it's again, they don't understand this connection. Usually they can just shut their feelings off. It's like this person may get temporary relief. I see them doing stuff like that, but then the next day the thought of you comes back in their mind. It's like a light bulb, like ding. I get this person, it's like I don't want to think about you. And the more that they're like, I don't want to think about you, the more that they think about you. So they're like I said, never felt anything like it before because normally they can logic themselves out of the relationship or find something. If you're walking around looking for problems, you can usually find them because we see what we look for, but they can't find anything. I'm accessing past life wisdom is helping me understand things with a new perspective, which is what karmic relationships are supposed to do. Usually it just is from a negative perception. It's not a negative perception because of whatever you're doing, but which probably, well, this person isn't giving me shit, so I'm not doing anything. And so Spirit says, and that's what you needed to do because it gave this person space to actually get over their ego a little bit, have to look at things from a different perspective because they're exhausting themselves from asking other people, tapping in, seeing if what those people are saying is accurate, and then trying to decode it. They're getting a little tired of it. There are messages being exchanged through music and movies. This person, like I said, is seeing you everywhere. I feel like the universe has its hand in this connection because it's like, this person really is not like spiritually intelligent at all. It's like all the angels are out on the field right now. All the descendant masters are on board to help this person because it's like they really don't believe that they can have love. They're really like insecure. And they created this persona that was like, not a nice person. And so that's where they were reacting. They projected their own fears and limitations onto you. This relationship is making them go within to understand what they are seeing is in themselves, not you. And so understand because of that, it's like the mirrors. See the mirrors. It's like that's what it is. It's like this person, of course, resisted this. And they, wait a minute, this is an intense connection that you're pissing me off because you're creating a lot of emotions. Normally, I don't feel these emotions, and I can't just shut it off. And I have feelings for you, but then you're annoying me. So it's again like this is very uh, perplexed situation for this person, because they're usually a surface person. And spirit's like, well, they're not going to just go deep within inside of themselves to fix all of that on their own. It's like there needs to be a catalyst. There has to be something, Otherwise, this person thinks that they can control everything. The one thing that they can control, God says, is me, and I'm love. And I'm inside of you. That's why you feel like home to them. That's why they don't have any control. That's why they've never felt anything like this before. That's why it's making them go in deep, because spirit's saying, I'm tired of your bullshit at this point. Like you've racked up a lot of negative karmic rewards points. So the universe came at this person's door and said, excuse me, but you owe like a lot of like karma. And this person was resistant to it. So spirit says, well, I'm going to make certain things happen in order for you to evolve back into your natural state, because whatever all that is not me. It's separation from me, of love. And you can see it because look how this person is acting. They're acting like an ass. They're acting like the exact opposite of what they're supposed to be acting like. And spirit says that's a psychological reversal. That's how they self-sabotage themselves all the time. They believe that they can't have it because the way that they grew up. Again, the negative energy of the parents, and then on top of it projecting onto them, is why our mission is to be unconditional love. Clearing programs is a necessary part of opening our hearts. So spirit's like, the whole point of why you guys are down there are to evolve into the energy of unconditional love, which is me, which is gives you the power to create whatever you want to create. It's your supernatural energy that will transcend time and space. It's like, if you can imagine it, you can create it. It's like, but you can only manifest what you want if you're in an energy of unconditional love. So the separation from self is actually the parts of yourself that you've rejected. And so this is a twin flame connection, is because spirit's saying, it's like, well, the programming from childhood, it's not going to heal on its own. They weren't taught forgiveness. They weren't taught that unconditional love was unconditional. Both parties here were taught love is conditional. Love is conditional. Today it's going to be good. Tomorrow it's not going to be good. Guess what? If you do A, B, and C, then it's good. Otherwise it's not good. And God says, that's not me. And God says, I'm unconditional love. No ownership, no expectation. It just is. It's like there's like no rules, no like whatever that is. It's like why you're down on the earth plane is to learn that you're not separate from unconditional love. The separation from it is what's blocking you from manifesting. So I have to bring, people in, a person in to help you, to show you what that is. But that means the person's going to piss you off. Oh, you have a lot of programs, a lot of ancestral programs, too many, that you're not going to be able to clear it on your own. So spirit says, you got to learn forgiveness. Oh, you don't like that one. Oh, the person was a real asshole, and yeah, they deserve to be in the wrong, and they did all wrong. Yeah, but you're going to get that with this type person. They're your twin flame. I got to awaken certain wounds in you that, it's blocking you. It's blocking your abundance. It's blocking you from manifesting. So again, it's like you're not going to like everything that plays out. And this person's going to be in absolutely no control over everything. They're a control freak, you see? And so none of it's going to play out the way that they will think it's going to be, because they're not in charge. And you're not in charge, Spirit says. Spirit says, I'm in charge. And it's, again, your job is to evolve back into unconditional love so you can create your heaven on earth. Your life doesn't look that way. I don't like that. Union is an energy. It's not a physical construct. Even when you guys are apart, you can feel. You can feel each other. And Spirit says, yeah, I got to teach you again that love has no time or space. Oh, you want to be mad? They'll be mad for a few months, a few years, whatever. And Spirit says, we got all the time in the world, God says. I don't care. God, you've already incarnated a few lifetimes. What the hell, another few lifetimes? We got all the time in the world. But your energy is still connected. So essentially nothing is happening except for you're fighting yourself. This person's fighting themselves, trying to control it and can't. So the universe says, I don't care. I got time. Pour me another coffee. I got plenty of time. Person's stubborn. The ego. It's like separation from me. There's a bigger thing going on here. We're unlocking DNA. You see, that's huge. It's just huge. It's because things had to change. The way that the person's ancestors, a lot of the ancestors, they have prejudice. They were, the way that they thought was just crazy. So it's all coming to a head now. That's what we're seeing collectively. But what is your part? Oh, your part. See, you had separation too. Because, hey, what you were taught, is unconditional love is that. It's like you can create the life that you want to experience. There's no limitations. I know this is more than a relationship, and that there is a higher purpose to our connection. There sure the hell is, Spirit saying. It's like there sure the hell is. You see, you know it, but you don't know. That's the higher wisdom. It's like, I don't know how I know I'm supposed to be with that person. I don't know how I know. Like, you're in my life for a reason, but it's like you're supposed to be in my life. And the Spirit says, that's the higher wisdom. And that's because you're, again, healing many, 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 many lifetimes worth of karma. Both of you. Again, the incarnated again. It's like, oh, lifetime 978. Here you guys go again. I hope that you learn forgiveness this time around. I hope that you learn vulnerability this time around. That we're getting tired of the same thing. Just like when you guys were pilgrims or whatever the hell you were in past lifetimes. I hope that you guys are gonna, learn this time around, and this person's trying because they're accessing past life wisdom. It's again, there's a higher purpose. I wonder what's going to be manifested, how the transmutation process is going to be. There's a lesson to be learned from all of this. There sure the hell is. There's a lot of lessons when it's a twin flame connection. It's like, this is what unconditional love is. This is, again, I need to love myself. I need to work on myself more in order to have a better relationship. It's again, but it first comes to surrender, where it's like I have no control over this. It's like, though it hurts, you're triggering like painful things, but it doesn't matter because that twin flame loves you unconditionally. It's like they're here, they may not handle it the way that you would like them to handle it, but you might say, I really would prefer a person to hold me and tell me that everything's gonna be okay. And Spirit says, you're needy. I'm not giving you that person. I'm gonna give you this person. That person's not emotionally intelligent at all. And that's the way I was raised, with unintelligent, like emotionally unintelligent parents. So why would you give me this person that's like emotionally handicapped? Like they have a lobotomy in that area of their brain. And Spirit says, because you think you need it. And you don't need anything outside of you. So again, the whole point of, I'm going to try and make this person change. I'm going to change into the person that I want you to change. Spirit says that's very codependent energy, and that's very controlling energy. And that's what you both were taught. It's again, break the ancestral karma. It's not working. You could both be mad at each other for a long time, and then over time feel foolish for being so angry at each other, because now you have to figure out a way to come back. Spirit says, oh, now look, the person made a bigger mess. Yeah, they didn't want to apologize, so now they have to really come back and be humble and take responsibility. It's, again, the more that you try to control the relationship, the worse that the relationship becomes. Don't be tempted to disconnect from source. Disconnect from source is our connection to healing, to love and healing. It and requires our reunion. Wait a second. Don't be tempted to disconnect from source. Our connection to source is the love and healing we require for reunion. So again, what the whole relationship is about really becoming that energy, like I said, of source, and realizing that you put the energy in the hands of God, per se, like in that source, right? That you give it to the universe, that you don't control, that you just evolve back into the energy of unconditional love. During times of separation, the twin flame soulmates are supposed to be working on each other to become like to a certain level so that they could actually be together. There is a lot of resistance in the beginning of a soulmate twin flame relationship because there's a runner, there's a chaser, there's a person that's usually a party person, that's a surface person, that's a here for a good time, not a long time. It's someone that's very sexual, someone that's very logical, analytical, and strategizing, and all that type of energy, opposed to someone that's very sensitive, and someone that's very creative, someone that's very intuitive, someone that's very compassionate. That person doesn't want to go that deep. It's like it terrifies them. And it's because they weren't allowed. They learned to survive and psychologically and emotionally survive by shutting it off. Where you emotionally and psychologically learn to survive by connecting with people. And again, losing yourself in your imagination and doing things like creating whatever that was, and that allowed you to connect to other people as well, where this person is not. So you're dealing with opposite energy, twin flame energy. That's not that's your other half. It's just that you was so much in that one energy and the other person was so much in the other energy to survive psychologically and emotionally. Escapism. Escapism is one child daydreamed and checked out, and the other person, again, had their nose in a book and learned. It's, again, the Spirit says both have gifts. The creative realm, the spiritual realm, the intuitive realm transcends all time and space, that has a better connection to source, where logical analytical is going to be more driven with the ego. So Spirit says, but both parties teach the other, because again, that's what the twin flame connection is. It's not that that's your other half of a person. And Spirit says that's why source is the connection. That's why there's a bigger purpose. It's not just your healing, but what is a transmutation process with the twin flame. It's a passion, but it's also creating, manifesting. This person's realized that they've given their power away from too many people, that they're not strong with themselves. So they're still in their healing process during the separation. There's awareness, which is supposed to happen too. What's been blocking me this whole time? It's like, how have I been living out of alignment? What do my core beliefs look like? Well, if this person's not happy with their life, that's normally where twin flames start. It's not like their life is really off the charts. It doesn't mean that the person can't make money, but they might make money but not have any friends and be an alcoholic or be something, like I said, they have imbalances. I'm feeling controlled by people around me and I don't like it. It's pushing me to find my power again. That's what that just said again. I've been giving away my power, same exact freaking card pretty much. But at least we see that they don't like it. But this person, like I said, codependent. So it's like they grew up in an environment that was codependent. Now they got themselves into codependent connection. It doesn't necessarily mean it's like with a romantic partner. It could be any person. It could be their mother, their father. It could be friends. It could be their people at work. It could be a karmic. It can be anybody. But over time, this person, like I said before, has to ask other people their opinion of what they should do. They're not strong within themselves. So, you know, that's how they wound up giving all their power away. They didn't realize it. It's like they forfeited their power a long time ago with the people that are surrounding them. And over time, when people have too much say in your life, they're always going to do what's best for them and not what's best for you and not treat you with respect. So that's what's happening to this person, which is making them grow. So, which would obviously have to happen for this person to actually even be willing to get into a relationship, because it's almost like they're terrified to be in a relationship. Where Spirit's saying it's like they want the relationship, but they're afraid of it. But this situation is even becoming more uncomfortable. And Spirit's saying, I kind of have to shake things up, because the person created structures in their life that they thought were permanent to keep them safe. That was the ego. There is no such thing as permanent. The world is always changing. You are always changing. Energy is fluid. It must move. Like everything moves. You create strength and support by making yourself strong, not by creating the structure that's strong, Spirit says. Otherwise, that structure eventually, like you said, falls apart. So that's really what it is. So nothing would get them out of that situation, too, Spirit says, unless it was a twin flame connection. I've never felt love like this before. So it's, again, the same thing that you got before, which is twin flame connection, which is there's really this connection is strong. Spirit says, yeah, because they wouldn't move their ass to get out of that situation. Because guess what? They could be uncomfortable, and they've learned to live uncomfortable for a long time. There's a safety in being connected to people that, are codependent and do everything for you. You don't need to think. It keeps you stuck in a lower perception, and you can stay stuck in your bad habits and behaviorisms, that feed the ego. Because if you're not living from your true self, your higher self, then there's always a feeling of lack. And so then we look for things outside of ourselves to feed us. This person did that in relationships, which is why they're terrified to be in a relationship. And that's why they don't really want to change. They didn't want to change. That's why Spirit said, I have to bring in somebody stronger, like a twin flame, because they're really ready. They want to. They're terrified, and nothing's going to make them walk through the fire. They're not going to do it. They're going to want to control. I'm going through a dark night of the soul. Nothing in my life is making sense. The people that are surrounding me, that are pushing me to grow, they were friends at one time. I thought I could trust them at one time. Now I can't trust them. They're controlling my life. I didn't treat right. Now I have feelings. I used to be able to shut my feelings off. It's like, I don't know what's going on. It's like nothing. Big Spirit says, I had to shake things up. I told you. You stayed too long in that energy, Spirit saying. It's, again, horrible energy. It was about time that you wanted to evolve. So, but in that, I'm going to shake things up. Dark night of the soul. It's like you have to get to it's an ego death, Spirit says. An ego death, because maybe if you break away from the people that are controlling you, well, that could be a karmic. It could be a work situation. Well, it's going to be the death of that. So it's going to be a phoenix moment where, it's going to set itself on fire, and you're going to be a bunch of ashes, and life isn't going to be good. So that's an ego death, because it has to, because this person had a lot of old beliefs that were built on like the environment that they grew up in, and then they created that codependency in other areas of their life. And now you come along and they're like, oh no. It's like, why? Because it's like, look at their relationships. Relationships, clearly they were given too much. Now that if they want to change it, well, that's when people usually want to control, right? People want to control when people are saying, I don't really want to do this anymore. I'm triggered and old patterns has surfaced and it hurts. Well, that's what happens, in a dark night of the soul. It's like shit is not working in your life. This is how you sabotaged your life. This is how you sabotage this connection. This is how you that's a very comfortable time in their life, like I said. But it's a necessary time in their life. Otherwise they wouldn't look at how like their behavior. They were selfish, like I told you, their ego. So, this relationship is profound. It's like for them because it's a deep connection. And like you said, that would have to happen. Otherwise, they would never change their situation. They just wouldn't. Our love is eternal. It exists in every dimension and cannot be lost. It's again a twin flame connection that's came out. So we pulled a lot of cards from this deck. So, I mean, really, you see real twin flame connection on many levels. There's a reason why. Now you're like, well, they're nowhere to be found. Well, they're still, fighting their ego. They said, I've never felt love like this before. It's inspiring, but it's triggering. Old triggers, like, again, patterns are coming up, like things that need to be healed, things that need to be cleared. They're going through a dark night of the soul. There must be an ego death. This person can't be with you before that ego death. It's again, that's what was getting in the way. That's why they were a jerk before, because of that ego. I don't really believe that I'm loved, but it came out like, well, you think the person would act insecure. No, they're not. That they wore a mask. They're going to act self-righteous. They're going to act like there's not a problem. But there was a problem. And they know that there was a problem because guess what? I can't control love. These people are controlling me in my life. I don't have my own life. And I have a connection that I can't really shut off. It's like, Spirit says, well, on some level, you want it out of whatever the situation is, because that's why the universe conspired to create this situation. So what are they going to do? Are they going to do like, I know that they're healed, that they're going through healing, but Spirit says eventually they're going to come back clearly, but it's like, let's see. And Spirit says unconditional love popped out. Look at this. It's again, unconditional love, romance. They are going to bring that romance to you. But it's about learning. You guys be friends first, become best friends first. This timeless connection. And then this one, crystal ball, intuition, seeing clearly, discernment, ESP. So ESP connection. And so there's an inner knowing that you two both share. So again, can't get any more twin flamey than this. It's like, but this person is planning on coming to you. It's just they're in the process of healing right now. Now you'd be like, well, I don't want to be with them. Well, you have free will, and guess what? Spirit doesn't really care whether you're going to be with them or not, because you left them in a better state than they are before. It would actually be their karma that you wouldn't be with them. But if it's a real twin flame connection, you ain't going to get off that easy. Trust me. It's like Spirit's going to say, no, you have feelings for that person. You're not going to really be able to walk away. You may think that you'll be able to walk away, but you won't be able to walk away. Now, it doesn't mean that you won't have to go slow and work things out. Oh, yeah, you're going to have to, but all that is part of the healing process. It needs to happen. Spirit says, again, family. So again, like healing the family karma, making a home and having kids and and loving support. It's like, so some of you guys might even wind up with this person, okay? So it's like, see that family. It's like, but it's definitely part of the soul family. Now it can, but soulmate twin flame relationships are difficult. And this person, again, reviewing the past for clues on how to move forward. So it goes back into saying, And for you, I feel like, again, like I said, it's a collective reading, but we can post some hidden truths. But I just think, like I said, if it's a twin flame connection, it's very, like, we all want that passion. We all want that, that situation, even if it's just to experience it. This is my hidden truth. It's like spirits, like so many decks of cards that, like, after a while it's overwhelming. You're like, okay, where is the deck of cards that I'm looking for? And it's like, okay, well, let me see. I'll pull from this one. See, because you are the love of my life, but I couldn't see it. So it's again more this person, but I think for you that you think that this person is the love of your life. Like, I think that that's really what you feel, like that they're the love of your life. However, like, there's problems. You see it as like problems, like difficulty, and it is because it's a twin flame connection. So, but you won't be able to control it if it's a real one, because too much passion. You might say, no, we're just friends with benefits, or we're just this or that. You will still need to have this person in your life some way. The key is not to undervalue it, to walk in being your best self. So, because that person does love you unconditionally, they are ready to heal. The whole point of the connection is that the person steps into their divine being, and you're helping them do that, and vice versa. So, you don't really want to, like, do things half-assed with this type of connection. Remember, Spirit saying it's a difficult relationship, but it's a very rewarding one too. However, when they are going to look and see what your spiritual blocks are, like what spiritual lessons you're going to learn from being in this connection, like maybe it'll uncover some gifts. Maybe you'll be the strong one again, or teaching something, uh, like something spiritual to this person. Who knows? Let's see. My point is, in the shadows are sometimes gifts. Not all the time are those parts of ourselves, like parts that we rejected. It's just underdeveloped. We couldn't create that part of ourselves in childhood, because your mind can't be in two places at one time if it was in survival mode. You know. So the first card out is rage, unworthy, abuse, water, self-sabotage, space. I like space, at least. Um, okay, well, it's clear without even reading it why you attracted the twin flame connection. I mean, the wounds are deep. Abuse, feeling unworthy, emotional and psychological, kind of what this person made you feel too, which is why you were like, not today. And rage. When we hold this energy in our root chakra, it changes our DNA. It's again because rage turns into cancer. It creates imbalances within the body, mind, and spirit saying. So it goes back to the beginning, where this connection is to help you clear the karmic programs from your ancestors and your family and collectively, as well as your own karma, where spirit saying it's giving you an opportunity to evolve into the highest state of consciousness, which is unconditional love, to become that love, to be taught, because there is. This rage is essential for transmutation, for, again, creative energy. As we turn pain into power, that's what happens with the twin flame connection. We turn pain into power, and that's by using this energy to create. That's the spirit saying it needs to go. It's like, otherwise there's going to be sickness will develop from it. And that rage from self-sabotage, psychological reversals. You too had it. Again, because you grew up the same way. Again, being taught that you're not lovable. Like being taught, and so you became the giver, the lover, too much, too fast, too soon. And you sabotaged yourself. Again, because you didn't know your own worth. So again, so what happens is, look at this. This is what happened. Rage. I'm not deserving of love. Separation from love. Spirit says there's no such thing as separation from God, from love, from the universe. We're all connected, Spirit says. Your perception is that because of being told that you are unworthy, being made felt like you're unworthy, it affected your emotional center, the second chakra. And that's who you perceive that you are. Spirit says, second chakra is your unique individuality, your passion for life. It's your birthing center. It's manifestation. It's passion. Go back to that second chakra. The twin flame will help activate that chakra. But Spirit says, the art of creating, you're not who you were told that you are. You again need to change those distorted perceptions because you were told that you're unworthy, that you're not good enough. That's what you were told. That's abuse. It's abuse. Spirit says this again, which wasn't right. So this is why you attracted 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's why you attracted that. But understand that type of trauma, abuse. What do you think you did as a child to survive? You checked out. It's again, you couldn't take it. You were like you were there, but weren't there. You were in the spiritual realm. That's in between. It's like because children can't run away. Can't run away. I gotta take it. So I'm gonna sit here, but I'm here, but I'm not. So those fragment pieces of you don't remember because it's the way that the brain protects you from that type of trauma when you're getting screamed at as a child or when you're getting abused. But Spirit says, so look at all this space that you can create with. It's like nothing was created. The only thing that keeps playing out are the traumas from the past in your relationships because you haven't created yourself. So all this space gives you opportunity to create, to create the life that you want to create. This is what Spirit's saying. It's like instead of reliving the karmic patterns of the past, make new. Find yourself. Become yourself. It's like you're not those things. And Spirit says, I don't like the way that you were looking at yourself. It wasn't working. And so that's why I'm brought this situation to you. It's all to help you transform. Again, turn the fears into your strengths as you step into your power. The profound change, again, from the wounded to the healed through unconditional love. That's what the twin flame relationship is about. It's transformation through transmutation. And that's through, again, the actual art of being together and learning compassion, resilience, courage, like unconditional love. Everything that's derived from unconditional love. That's not as easy as it sounds when you grew up in survival mode. It's like it's scary. And Spirit says that's why you get your twin flame. This again, because those wounds run deep and they're old. And no one wants to deal with them. Nobody. One person is that runner and one person's a chaser. But eventually we got here where you were like, I'm not dealing with this. So now this person's going to become the runner and you're going to be the now the roles have changed. If they were the runner, now you're the runner and they're going to be the chaser. You may not like it, but Spirit says, that's right. Take the leap of faith. Take the leap of faith. Take bold steps, even if the path is not fully visible, that this risk will be rewarding, is what Spirit's saying. It's like, take the leap of faith. This is your twin flame. There's not going to be a love like you experienced it like ever before. Is it going to be hard? Yes. Is it going to be triggering? Yes. But you'll grow, you'll evolve, and you'll be able to attract better things into your life. I mean, that's essentially a much easier way to heal these type of wounds, is what spirit says, because they're deep. You were taught everything that was wrong. So unless you actually embody that unconditional love, and that means really getting pissed off and hating this person and saying, like, how dare you, you disgusting pig of an animal, that you did this to me, that you hurt me, I hate you, I hope I can set you on fire, I hate you. And then the next day being like, maybe what they did wasn't really that as bad as I made it sound. Maybe, and you tend to get soft, and you tend to evolve back into that energy of unconditional love. Like, I can't believe I have this strong feelings for this person. It's like they don't deserve love, though. It's like they don't deserve my love. And then spirit says, well, then if they don't deserve your love, you don't deserve my love or forgiveness. And spirit says, because I don't say, well, this deserves forgiveness and this doesn't. We're learning unconditional love, which means forgiveness. It means you got to get your ego out of the way. It's like, I don't want to forgive. And spirit says, well, then you don't love that person unconditionally, because you won't be able to control it. That's the whole point of it. Spirit says, I'll bring you to your knees. It's like you'll feel sorry, like this person right now. They're worried. I don't know. I'm worried you're probably not going to come back after everything I done. Damn straight. Damn straight. I don't want to deal with this. They're like, but there must be a lesson, because I can't fight it. Damn straight. Spirit says, you're going to learn it once and for all. You don't have control. You're going to stay in a place of fear, and take the leap of faith already, and stop trying to control the situation, because every time you control it, you make it worse, is what spirit's saying. It's ridiculous already. And then he leaves off with one more message, and that is freedom through faith. Calm your thoughts and you rise above fear. You free yourself of all the doubt by entrusting your doubts to God. Have faith in God's perfect timing. Again, divine timing and placement, and trust his will and find freedom. Meaning, like, the way back to your freedom is through unconditional love. And so it's, again, and trust that the universe, which is God, divine timing, everything is in divine order. Even when we say that wasn't supposed to happen, spirit says that was supposed to happen. You were supposed to learn. You were supposed to see. But I didn't learn, so it wasn't supposed to happen. Spirit says it was supposed to happen. Because, again, it might have brought you to learning, to meeting new people, new situations, new experiences, took you down a different path. But there's many different paths that can play out at one time. Your level of consciousness, again, depends on your core beliefs. So making sure you go down the right path requires healing. And that's what this twin flame relationship is about, where spirit's saying both parties went down the wrong path a few times by making wrong choices due to the experiences that they lived in. So the universe had to get involved. Says, well, it's, again, I always support. It doesn't matter what it looks like. You could be the worst person, spirit says. I love you still unconditionally, no matter who you are. And I'm still going to bring you everything that you need to help you evolve back to your original state of unconditional love. Just some paths are going to be more difficult. This path really isn't most difficult. It's just you're dealing with a person that really has a lot of fear due to what they grew up in, and I'm sure you do too. Again, because twin flame mirrors, same experience. That's why they have a lot in common, and they even deal with the situation like similarly, where they might not feel as comfortable to express their emotions and hide how they truly feel. But spirit says, but they have different gifts, and their way of thinking and their approach to life is much different. And Neither one is 100% right. This one over here is two in the spiritual realm. Their feet are never on the ground, you see? And this one over here, they're not spiritual. They're like a Judas, only out for themselves. And Spirit says, so we have on the spectrum here, like both sides, and both parties need to be in the middle. So again, the twin flame connection will help them do that. But it's not an easy connection. There's lessons to be learned from it, but it's all to help you evolve into the best version of yourselves. I'm going to leave that there, Scorpio. Anyone have any questions? Want to know anything? Speak now or forever hold your peace. The perfect storm. We are definitely on life 9. Exactly. It's per 900. And understand 700 generations of karma is what you inherit from your ancestors, everybody. And so you live many, many lifetimes to like learn to heal certain karmas. And I believe that, the twin flame connection, it just means that both parties are ready to like become the best version of themselves. They just don't know how to. And that's why the universe helps. So it's an exciting time, guys. You let me know how it goes. And if anyone wants to learn or learn on a specific topic or want me to do a reading on a specific spiritual topic, please let me know. You can give and hope they'll understand our potential lesson, but they become more defiant and obsessed. A lot of times you can't make a person. What it is that a lot of times you make a person by not saying a word, but by becoming the best version of yourself. Because at the end, when you're not playing along with all their games, which is, by the way, their resistance and defiancy is just control. When you don't play the game, well, then it's again, and there's real love. They realize they have to change their strategy. And sometimes, Sonia, guess what? Or Sonia, I don't know if I'm saying your name right. Sometimes Sonia, they lose. It's their karma that it's again they miss out, because they didn't do right. But if you stay in your energy and it's a real twin flame connection, they'll rise up. You may not like the way that they go about it, but then Spirit says, you're not allowed to control how they ask for forgiveness. You're not allowed to control how they love, how that person loves you. It's like that's their love. That's the way that they know how. You may not like it. You may say, I wish they would do this. And Spirit says, well, you wish that they would do that normally because of whatever it is that you're lacking. But at the end of the day, there's still unconditional love for that person that you're like, well, it's again, they annoy me. They piss me off. They trigger me. Well, I think that's when a relationship gets to the point where you're like, I'm sending this person packing, it's because the dynamic of the connection went on too long, a certain way. Like you already taught this person how to treat you. You already let them get away with what they wanted to get away with, what they, and that's really what it is. So too much disrespect is what ruins the connection. It's like, so it's again, a fine line between love and hate. And it's because of that. It's like you love the person and you try and be like, well, let me show you this way. Well, let me explain this way. Well, let me do this way. Well, it only tells this person that they don't have to do anything. That's why they're defiant. Because they're saying, look how much you love me. I don't have to do a damn thing. Instead of you just being like, you know what, a long time ago, you're not doing it. I asked you 2 times. I asked you 3 times. 3 times you're out. It's like, or I asked you twice already and you didn't do it. It's like, I'm not playing this game. More time with myself, more time interacting with other people, less time for you. The reason why is because you're disrespectful. It's like the person then has an opportunity to either come back and apologize and surrender their ego and act differently, or then it's again what you're saying is not today, and that you're telling the universe somebody else, please. And understand when you do that enough times, the universe brings you that person. So it's not that, it's again that you shouldn't tell the person to go packing, but by the time that it gets to the place where you're like, no, I'm kicking them the F out of my home, and I'm like, I don't care, the constant disrespect spirit says, yeah, it already went too long. You can talk till you're blue in the face and you're not going to get anything. That person's not going to move already because you already showed them how much you care. So now you have to show them a different side of you. And guess what? And stick to it. And when that person comes back, comes crying because after they go and see if there's better options out there, don't take them back. It's like, because, hey, if that's what I needed to do, unless they're going to like really show you or make them work really hard to be back in your life to prove themselves. Because that's the only thing that's going to heal what they did to get you to this place where you are right now. So again, people can change, but they don't willingly change. You have to make them change. And the fact, if there's real love there, they will change. Doesn't mean they're happy about it. And it also doesn't mean that you can't replace them and find somebody that's going to just be a lot easier to deal with. And if that might just be where you are right now too, being like, I don't want to deal with it. It's like, I've done my work. This person hasn't done theirs. And part of my healing is to get rid of that person so that I can, again, attract somebody more in alignment with who I am today. Yeah, well, it's again, he's stuck in whatever trauma that he went through again, and hasn't healed it. So I think again, that's the way that they learn, though, is through the karmic consequence, and that's by you ending the connection and then again living your best life. And having this person like, no, because they're not going to meet another one of you, someone that poured as much time, energy, love, and affection into them. People think that people are so replaceable. They're not. They get caught up in that, oh, you're trying to control me and all the stupid things in the relationship. But when you're gone, believe me, they'll be thinking about all the things that you did. So again, no consequence as long as you're connected, though. And that's the problem. It's like when with a person that's immature. So I'm sorry about that. But I'm going to run. Good luck to you, Sonia. And thank you, Diane and Mose, and everybody else for tuning in today. But we're at 1 hour and 17 minutes. So I'm going to wind down. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.